Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers and we're here to cover the Monday Night Lights Skip Barber Championship Round 5, I think it is, and we're at the Nordschleife. Believe it or not folks, this track is huge and they're running the full version. And let's bring up that track guide and have a look. It's 154 turns, I think, Alex, and 21 kilometres is the length of one lap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a crazy track, Benny. It's certainly kept a few folks busy this week trying to get it learned and down pat. My feelings on it is you can get to remembering all the corners, but you certainly have a hard time getting to know them fast enough to get around here quickly and safely.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the track's so big, from what I understand, is as my overlay decides to crash, is that they didn't get qualifying, did they, for tonight's race because it takes so long to get around one lap.
Yeah, it's funny. They set this week. iRacing set this week up distinctly from all the others. You do instead of having the qualifying tacked on to the race session, what they do is they run separate qualifying sessions all week. So you can post a qualifying time every hour if you like, and your best one that you get in cleanly does you for all the races that week. So because of the size of the track, they run it a little bit differently this week. Yes.
Yeah, so let's see if I can bring up our weather. And my computer's struggling a bit here. I don't know why. I think it'd run smoothly with such a small track. But yeah, 154 turns tonight, folks. 21 kilometres. Expect 3 laps. That's all they're doing here tonight. Sky's partly cloudy. Wind speed 3 kilometres an hour, so not too bad there. The track temp, though, 40 degrees Celsius. So it's a scorcher out here tonight in Germany.
Yeah, what they've done as well here, Bernie, this week is they've set constant track temps and conditions throughout the weeks. I guess it's in an attempt to help the guys learn the track under familiar conditions. You can imagine having wildly varied conditions would make it really tough to get consistent here. So that's one thing that they've done to ease people into what is the Green Monster.
Certainly is. So let's have a look at the grid and we'll go through who we've got here. So we've got Enzo Cantor set pole position with an 8 minute .462. We have Luke Whitten starting out of second. Hill out of third. Bright will start out of fourth. Out of fifth tonight we have Sully. Then Russell Clark will start out of sixth. A new name I haven't seen before is Huseman out of seventh, and then McDonald will start out of eighth. We've got Kevin Henderson out there starting in ninth. Jason Willman will start out of 10th. Out of 11th is Haynes, followed by Solar, another new name. Calderon will start out of 13th. Mick Gray out of 14th. 15 is Garcia. 16 is Lespenez. Then we have Catakazinos, and rounding out the field of 18 is Robertson.
Yeah, quite a big field here tonight. It's been a very popular track as we get ready to go live here, Bernie. Some really good times up the front, but you can see quite a disparate range between the whole field because of the nature of the track. So big and long and varied in how people take it as we get ready to go.
Certainly do, and they're actually starting on the other side of this hill, folks, so we can expect to see them. There we go, and a nice clean start here as we will cut now and see them through the first corner. And Enzo Can has got a nice start, but we have to make sure the rest of this field gets through cleanly. It looks like a nice clean start, Alex.
Yeah, it sure does, Bernie. It's a really one and only time you'll probably see the field quite so bunched. The times here, as I said, are so varied that you'll find people that did qualify up the front will stay there, and the guys that didn't qualify that are quick will work their way through as quickly as they can, if at all possible. But you'll also see that because of the vast discrepancy in times, the field will just spread out and find its natural order pretty quickly, hopefully.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way at the moment as we see them stream up over the hill here. So we've got Enzo Cantor leading Luke Whitten. Matthew Hill sitting there in third position. We have Mark Bright out of fourth, and John Sully is sitting in fifth. So that's your top five, folks.
Yeah, look, good to see three Aussies, or three local guys at least, up in the front five. John Sully, I think this is his first trip for the Monday Night Lights. He's been a good participant on the forums, providing track guides and a good bit of commentary to his own racing. It's great to have him here tonight.
Oh, it certainly is, and it looks like David Haynes has had a bit of an off track, and he's still out there though, sitting in 15th position. But you can just see these gaps, can't you? Just starting to form, and we're not even a third of the way through the first lap here tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. Like I said, you'll see the field settle down and find a rhythm. It's great to see. We've still got the top 6 guys also running in a pack together. Or the top 5 at least. If we can hang on to that for the whole race, it'll give us a good bit of action to follow.
Yeah, and then in the second pack here we have Russell Clark, John Sully, Mark McDonald, Bastian Hazeman, Kevin Henderson's in there, and Jason Willman, and these guys will be trying to draft each other up and close that gap to the top 4 here.
That's right, Bernie. It's interesting. We've got a few new names here tonight. The popularity of this track has been remarkable. It's a paid track, not a free one. Yet the whole week has rivaled the participation of week 1, where we had a free, well-known Lime Rock Park. This track, as scary as it is, seems to draw out a whole bunch of people who love it, and as a result, we've got a good bunch of new faces here tonight.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think, how many did we have come in for tonight's round? I think we had 18 in this split and 17 and 16, I think, in the other 2 splits.
That's right, Bernie. We were almost approaching the 60 driver mark. Certainly our biggest participation so far for the season of Monday Lights. Strength of field here tonight of 3,390, which makes this race the second highest strength of field for the week across the iRacing Skippy service, which is a fantastic effort. What that means, folks, is that we do get a higher level participation from our overseas drivers, who are not only here for the great spectacle that is Monday Lights on RRTV, but they're also out to secure good championship points for the overall iRacing season, and it's a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's why we see a lot of the international drivers join us for the Monday Lights. They're really after that high I rating, aren't they?
That's exactly right. You see the likes of Enzo, who's turning up and taking out these events regularly. He's here because, like I said, it's great to have your name up in lights with you, Bernie, here. But also, Enzo's currently leading the Skip Barber Championship on the iRacing service. That would be his second season in a row if he manages to take it out. But what's so appealing as we build the interest here in Monday Lights is there's great championship points on offer.
Yeah, exactly right, and you can just see the quality of their field out there at the moment, though. Enzo Cantor, he's still leading this race. Luke Whitten, he's not going to let him get away, though, and then we have third, and they're dropping back a little bit. That's Matty Hill with Mark Bright right behind him, so they've all dropped back into that second pack.
Yeah, it's a big second pack too, by the looks, Bernie. Nice close racing there. We're all line astern here. Despite the length of this track, there are relatively few safe passing locations. We'll probably, if these guys can all manage to stick together and not make too many mistakes, see a long snake for the majority of the time. These corners are hard to run on your own with any sort of consistent speed, but get in a pack and racing offline in particular becomes incredibly difficult. So what you'll find is there's a couple of really long straights, and aside from your opponents making some mistakes and you getting past that way, you'll find most guys are just happy to toe the line and get through the laps safely.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a matter of survival as we see one car run off. Luckily they rejoined, but just have a look. We're riding with Kevin Henderson on the back of this huge pack, and folks, if you think these Skip Barbers aren't hanging it out tonight, just look at the drift of Bastian Hazeman there, and these guys are absolutely flat out in these little cars.
Absolutely, they are, Bernie. You'll find here the setup of the cars, the base setup of the cars this season have made the rear end more stable around here. Last season, I tell you what, I was scared to run the laps half the time. That's not to say that you still can't send the back a bit wide here and get that car rotation a little bit extra for yourself while you're trying to do it. But the setup of the car more generally this year has made this track not only a lot more fun, but a lot more likely for yourself to get around.
Yeah, I had to hold my breath that probably 3 corners back as Kevin's having a look. He actually, the car's actually got airborne over one of those humps. That's how fast these guys are going tonight.
Yeah, they're pushing it. You see how they're all gathering up together here now? As we see, I think it's Russell go around the outside of that corner. You can't afford to do that. You lose so much time there with the banking. You'll see they're bunching up here because we're approaching the longest straight on the circuit. And you'll see the guys here. This is where they'll go 3 and 4 wide here if they can, Bernie. If they're within drafting range, this is probably your best passing opportunity on the track.
Yeah, and we can see Luke and Enzo, they're clearing out on the rest of the guys. Matthew Hill, Mark Bright is the next one. But let's go back to this huge pack as they come down this long straight. We can see Bastian there. He's just starting to weave to try to break that draft. We've also got... who's that? That is Bastian. I'm just sorry. That's Mark McDonald. So we've got Mark McDonald, John Sully just made that move. And we've also got Russell Clark in here.
That's right, Bernie. You can see they're sort of weaving around. They're not trying to make contact or anything. They're just trying to find their way through with that draft. They seem to have lost the 2 in front with Mark and Matthew Hill making a bit of a break. You see Russell drop back there just so they can sort themselves out before the corners come in earnest again.
Yeah, and it looks like Russell's actually carrying some rear wing damage. So he's been involved in a bit of an altercation on that first lap.
Yeah, that looks to cause him a bit of understeer through that last... Oh, and there's been a bit of net code there, and unfortunately the front left of Kevin's caught Russell there, and it looks like he's past the line already, so that's going to be a very long tow. You're looking at about a 10-minute return to the pits for Russell there, and his night's over, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's our second retirement. We also had David Haynes retire earlier. We saw him in a bit of trouble in there running off the track, so I'd say a wall may have claimed him. We'll try to work that out, but definitely Russell's got some sort of suspension damage from that contact.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it looked to me like there was net code because Russell certainly copped the worst of it, and Kevin seemed to keep on driving. There was obviously no intent there. Kevin and Russell don't race like that. It's just unfortunate that Russell came off second best there tonight.
Yeah, well, there was quite a gap between the two of them, and definitely quite a lot of net code playing into that one. And we've also got Mick Gray out here at the moment, Alex. He's running in 13th, and he's having a bit of a battle with Federico Calderon.
Absolutely. Mick looks to be racing for the last points position in Monday Lights against Federico there. Normally you see Mick build through a race. He doesn't always qualify up the front, but he races smart and strong throughout a race. I'd suggest that the gap here is probably a bit too much for him to bridge to get back onto that big pack, and he'll be settling for one of the top 12 positions if he can get it and secure some more points in the championship.
You can see now Mark Bright and Matthew Hill are going at it. It looks like Mark's just moved up to third, and we'll see if he can start bridging the gap. They've completed one lap here, folks, believe it or not. I'll give you some of the times. Enzo Cantor, he did an 8 minutes 01.023 seconds. Luke Whitten, 8:01.457. Mark Bright, 8.03. 444, and then they go down Bastian Hazeman, an 8 minute 06, and then they drop into the 7s and the 8s, and some of them are in the 9s, and Mick Gray's down there in the 13s at the moment.
That's a fantastic time from our leading duo there. A pair of 801s from a standing start is an excellent time when you consider they did an 8 minute dead for their qualifying time, I think Enzo got. What you'll see on this track, and in those times you've described as well, such a wide range of times here because the amount of practice it takes to get not only quick but consistently around this place is incredible. I mean, what we're saying, 154 turns. To remember which way the track goes is one thing, but to really know how to attack a corner and attack it safely to get quick, it takes a lot of time. I remember, the first half a dozen laps I was driving around here, it felt like I was rally driving without a spotter. No one was calling the corners for me, but I could never remember which way the track was going. So that's why you'll see such a big range of times here, and what makes it interesting at the same time.
It certainly does, and I know some of the guys, when you're racing at this sort of level, you have to know the track intimately, and to know this monster track intimately, you're going to have to turn hundreds of laps, I think, and really get to know every bit of this track as well as how the cars are going to react to these corners.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. It's interesting, we've still got a few people racing close together. I see John Sully's now got the draft off Kevin up this long uphill straight. It's probably his second best passing opportunity on the track as he pulls alongside Kevin now. There's not many places you can pass safely here, but both he and by the looks in the pack in front, the two cars in front might be having similar ideas as well. We've had a big stack.
Certainly did. That was John Sully, and Jason Willman, I think, was involved. Kevin Henderson as well. Let's jump back to the replay here, and we'll have a look at this super slow-mo. It got messy pretty quick, didn't it?
It sure did, Bernie. It looks like in making that move where I said it was relatively safe, it looks like John has come up the inside of Kevin there, and he's just caught the ripple strip on the inside, and that's kicked him out to Kevin on the outside, and then you've seen Xavier come up behind them with nowhere to go. It's one of the problems with these tracks when you're trailing a pack like that, with this track, is when there's something in front of you, the track's not wide enough to get around safely, and if you're following closely, an incident like that will end your day pretty well as quickly as it did the pair that had it.
Oh, it certainly will, and for the viewers at home, we'll jump back and we'll jump on board in live time with John Sully, just so you can see how this unfolded in real time.
Yeah, I can't see your screen, but I'm just watching it now, Bernie, and as they come up to take the left-hand corner, he's just caught the ripple strip on it's kicked him over into Kevin, as I said, and that's dramatically ruined both their nights, and Xavier, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, so you could see how quickly, folks, these things get out of control on this track. But out front at the moment is Enzo Cantor. Luke Whitten, he's dropped down 0.4 of a second, but these guys are doing scorching time. Then we've got 2.8 seconds back to Matthew Hill, and he's starting to get a bit of a gap over Mark Bright as these guys spread out. Then we've got Mark McDonald, followed by Bastian Hazeman. And 3 seconds down the track, Jason Willman, followed by Mick Gray. Kevin Henderson still in there with no nose, so he's still running. And Federico Calderon is your top 10.
Yeah, so the big beneficiaries there, Bernie, will have been Mick and Jason. By the looks, they've jumped up a number of spots. We were just talking before about how Mick was running in 13th spot. As you say, interesting, Kevin sitting in right behind him. He's lost his nose cone altogether. I remember we were talking a couple of rounds ago about what effect that has on the car and the front wing and what have you. And at the time I said I hadn't really noticed too much, but I've done a bit of work on it lately, Bernie, and I found that it really does affect the way you turn in onto a corner. It gives you a bit of understeer, and more so this car generally has a lot of understeer, so it accentuates that problem. But what I'm really surprised to see at the moment is Kevin sticking with right on the tail of Mick there. It suggests that probably Mick hasn't had a lot of time to practice this week, because normally he'd be off and in the distance to Kevin's right now, given the damage that Kevin's got.
Yeah, well, Kevin's pretty much on cue there, put it into the wall, and he's got damage to his suspension, and he's actually looped it on the back straight, so I think he's going to have to try and get that car limped back to the pits, and that'll be his night done.
Oh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah, he's not I don't think he's too. Where is he on the track? I don't think he's too far from the pit, so he might be able to limp it back from there. Yeah, he was coming on by the looks of it onto the main straight, so he'll probably lose a minute or two if he can manage to get it back, but hopefully he can still try and snag a few points.
Yeah, that car looks like toast to me, but see how he goes. Believe it or not, we're on to the last lap here. So the last lap these guys did, Alex, 7 minutes 57 seconds to both Enzo and Luke. Matthew Hill did a 7 minute 59, and Mark Bright an 8 minute 01.
Gee, there's some fantastic times there. 7:57s for Enzo and Luke. Well, as Luke sends his rear a bit wide there. Hopefully he won't lose touch with Enzo there. Luke is currently, along with our regular Matthew Thomas, who isn't here tonight, right up in the overall iRacing Championship for the season. It's great to see a local guy competing with Enzo here, who, as I said, is the outright leader of the overall championship on the iRacing site. So to have a guy like Luke up there and competing, along with Matthew, who's normally here, is fantastic for the local driving scene.
Oh, it certainly is, and you can just see the talent that the Australian drivers are developing, having that exposure as well. We've got a lot of good talent down here, and they get to actually test their skills against a lot of these big guys.
That's 100% correct. We've just seen Mark McDonald make a passing move over Bastian Houseman along the probably the second longest straight of the night, as they head around the right-hander into a steep downhill section. It's funny, it doesn't look, it's kind of deceptive here. It's like you've chucked your skippy off a cliff. The steep is so slow, but as they bottom out here, it's actually the fastest part of the circuit. You'll see a skippy on its own run up around 210 k's an hour in draft. Depending on how far back you are and brave you are, you might get up to 215 and hit the rev limiter, but that surprisingly is the fastest section on the track, Bernie.
Wow, and then they cap it off with all these S's to really test them out.
It's an absolutely challenging part of the track. As you come up, if you're gutsy, you can hold it in fifth as you go around that first left-hander, and then it's all the way down to second to get through that challenging section, as you say, is before you start heading downhill again through some more mountainous, treacherous territory.
Yeah, I think treacherous is probably an understatement here. We're just with Bastian Houseman here, and we're watching from the gyro cam as Mark McDonald just ahead of him is sliding this car through the corners, and you can just see how these guys are getting absolutely everything out of these cars tonight.
That's right, Bernie. It's great fun when you get it right. It can go wrong pretty quickly, but again, what you'll probably see Bastian doing here is sticking him behind until one of the few passing opportunities here. He's waiting for Mark to make a drastic error and go past calmly if he can, or set him up for one of the few genuine draft passing opportunities.
Yeah, so let's jump down to the front. It's still Enzo Cantor, Luke Whitten. They've got 4.8 second gap now over Matthew Hill. So the top step of the podium is going to be decided from these two guys. At the moment, it's looking very good for Enzo Cantor.
Yeah, well, he's got Luke just over half a second behind him there. Luke, if he can stick with that, he'll be able to draw on him up this long uphill stretch again. He's already got a 10th and now 2/10ths. He'll be towed up this hill by Enzo, who's braking all the air for him. And what he'll then hope to do, probably, unless he tries the move here, is stick behind Enzo all the way through the remaining corners. You know, we're talking, this is about halfway through the lap. He'll try and stick with Endo for the remaining challenging sections of the remainder of this last lap, and then on that long straight to finish, he'll look to draft past there, which I said is the most solid opportunity to pass throughout the lap. And, you know, no point in putting the extra pressure on yourself to sit in front with a guy right on your tail when you can just sit in behind him and use that draft to pass him in the last lap. It'll certainly be interesting to see how Enzo defends that strategy.
Certainly will. I'm expecting when they get onto this last long straight up here, they're going to be weaving all over it. As we can see, Luke just hugging in on the embankment. He actually had to lift a little bit there because Enzo got spat out the other side, and he had to check up a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. Those two bank sections were originally put there because one of the early drivers was hanging his inside sets of tyres over the ripple strips on the inside and managing to get extra grip through there to the point where there's records saying he was getting 2 seconds a lap from doing it. So what they ended up doing was he dug so many ruts there, they ended up putting the embankments in there as a permanent feature of the track. Certainly in these cars, if you don't make use of them, just as we saw with Enzo going through there before, he can get spat out into the wall really quickly.
He certainly can, and we could see the difference just with Enzo. He sort of got spat over the lip a little bit, and Luke didn't. And Luke was all over the back of him before you could blink. But at the moment, it's going to be interesting to see if Luke has anything left for Enzo as we are into the final last half of the last lap here.
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. We've got an interesting battle similarly for the final spot on the podium between Mark Bright and Matthew Hill. Mark's in a similar position behind Matthew there. He's about half a second behind, looking perhaps to hold on and then make his dash down that final main straight. And similarly again, you've got Bastian and Mark McDonald in another battle pack of two. Be interesting to see how those 6 drivers settle for the final results.
Yeah, that's right, and it's interesting to see how they've broken down into 3 battle packs of 2 each, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's makes for an interesting finish as Luke and Enzo now are starting to approach that second bank section, and then a couple of one main right-hander into that final stretch. So I guess it's time for the action to heat up.
It certainly is, and this is where Luke doesn't want to let Enzo go. He's got to get into this draft and try to make a move, but he's also got to watch out because it's so long. If he makes his move, which he's starting to now, he's got to make sure Enzo doesn't repay the compliment.
That's exactly right, Bernie. What you'll find is you've got the double dip potentially, as Enzo might seek to pull him behind now. Alternatively, you'll find that these cars are only run at about 130 horsepower. So once they're approaching their top speed up here, just around the 200k an hour mark, as we see Enzo come back at Luke, you'll find that once you get out into the clean air, you get slowed down so much because the guy was punching a hole in it for you. You don't have the power to keep up that speed. But Enzo's made a nice move there, and looks like Luke's got very small opportunity left to come back to his last couple of corners.
Yeah, Enzo absolutely timed that perfectly, didn't he? He made sure he made that move with absolutely no straight left, and as such, he's going to come across and take out round 5 here of the Monday Night Lights at Nordschleife. Having a look now, Matty Hill is coming home in 3rd, followed by Mark Bright. So that's your 3rd and 4th, and then we had Hazeman leading McDonald in. So that's your top 6, folks.
Yeah, then Jason Willman's come in, followed by Mick Ray, who's just coming in now in 8th place as he rounds the final corner. Federico, he's coming in 9th now, just crossing the line, and that leads us down to 10th. Johan is coming up the final back straight into the last series of corners now. And as we kind of expected, that this track's really spread the field out and led to a couple of small packs to keep us interested. But I think the main people interested in surviving this track will have been the guys themselves, whether they were on their own or with someone to keep them company.
Yeah, and Johan there, he nearly lost it. He gathered it up to get it across the line. Kevin Henderson, he's had that car fast repaired. He's 82 seconds down, but it looks like he's going to come across in around about 11th or 12th, probably 12th position, I think.
It looks like Kevin, he did manage to get it home and into the pits, and as you say, he grabbed the one fast repair that you're allowed in this series. Looks to me like he might snag 11th place, which would leave him in the points for tonight, and all things considered, quite a good result. He had a couple of little incidents along the way, one net code and one not really of his own making. So good to see that he's brought it home with some points.
And Xavier Solar comes home in 12th. Then we have John Sully coming through 13th, so he recovered from that big accident. It was the only really big accident we saw, or we covered anyway. Sam Katakazinos. We haven't seen much of Sam tonight, but he's going to come home in 14th position.
Yeah, Sam's done a few races with us in the past. Haven't seen him too much this series. Like I said, this track's so popular it may have drawn him out of the woodwork for a good Monday night's performance. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone his way tonight, and he's coming home in what looks to be 14th position.
And he's 134 seconds down from the lead, and we've still got another two guys out there to finish, and that's the next one we can expect will be Russell Clark. And Russell comes across, and then Ian Robertson. He's the last of our finishers. So we lost tonight. Who retired was Diego Gomez Garcia and David Haynes. Unfortunately, David he didn't make the first lap. But saying that, it's a long first lap.
It sure is, Bernie. It's a shame for Russell there coming home in 15th. We saw earlier he had that unfortunate netcode incident with Kevin. Russell's a seasoned Monday Lights competitor. He finished third in the championship last year. He's had a bit of a tough run this season, I have to say. A few DNFs, and he's still sitting in 7th place, but I know he really enjoys his Monday Lights, and he tries to get up for each and every week, and it can be a bitter pill when you cop a couple of DNFs. So bad luck to Russell tonight.
Yeah, definitely bad luck, and that was a huge gap of a netcode issue there. The guys didn't even come close to touching, but looks like we've got our race winner Enzo Cantor in the green room. We'll bring him up and get his thoughts on the Nordschleife. Hi Enzo, welcome to RRTV's Combox. Congratulations on another win in the Monday Lights racing series. And what did you think of Nordschleife tonight? Sorry Enzo, we can't hear you, mate. I think we might have some issues with your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you now. Yep, we've got you now, Enzo. So what were your thoughts on tonight's race and Nordschleife?
Hi to you all, guys. What I think this is a very wonderful track. I love it, and this season with the new release of the skip is more exciting than past season. I feel very comfortable here, but you know it. You can lose focus for a moment, and it will destroy your race. So it was very important for me to keep the focus of the race, and I know Luke Witten could keep my draft till the end of the race. I tried to push very hard in second and third lap in order to go away, but I nearly did it, but the most gap was 1 second, so well, a very good race by him, and I'm happy for this victory because I think it was the highest soft of the week.
Yeah, well, we noticed on that last lap, you timed that the final overtake perfectly to make sure you made that overtake at the very end of the back straight there, which didn't give Luke the opportunity to come back at you. So that was a really good move.
Thank you, but I think Luke was not managing to win the race. I think he's so smart. So he noticed that my pace was faster than his pace, and I think he's leading the championship. So it could be good for him, even a second place. And I think his tactics in the last lap was not so aggressive. I think he is happy for his second place because he didn't want to risk so much to win this race. I think he is looking to the championship.
Okay, that's good to know, and I'm going to hand you over now to Alex and see if he's got any more questions for you, Enzo.
Thanks, Bernie. Welcome back again, Enzo. Another great victory for you tonight. I agree with you that the Skippy this season makes this track even more fun than it has been in previous years. The participation this week has been outstanding, and you're right. The strength of field here tonight was second only to one race in the remainder of the week. What do you think makes this track so popular?
I think this is the people of racing, and so this is known as Green Hell. You know, this is the famous track in which Niki Lauda did this famous incident. So I think there is something like it fascinates. It fascinates all the drivers because you know that if you can manage this track, you can be in the temple of the top drivers of the world. So I think this is a very good challenge for all the drivers, and so many drivers love it. And even if many of they are not so fast here, but if you can do a race without hitting a wall, this is always a little victory for you, even if you finish the race in 10th position. So I think this is the reason why so much drivers love it.
Yeah, thanks, Enzo. I couldn't agree more. Surviving here is an achievement in of itself. But thanks again for coming and supporting the race, Enzo. Really great to see you, and congratulations again on your victory.
Thank you again. Thank you for your interview. I'm so happy every week.
Yeah, fantastic, Enzo. And before we go, as always, give a shout out to all your sponsors out there.
Yes, thank you. As always, Thrustmaster, Cube, TRL, and my teammate Fabio Mantellini, Maria Concetta for the logistics, and all my teammates. As Jose Maria Lopez, that is my best teammate. You know, he is a double-time WTCC World Champion, and we are very blessed to have him in our team for GT3 and endurance races.
Fantastic. And anyway, Enzo, it's probably time for your lunch over there, and we'll let you go, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Sunny is sleeping now, fortunately. I'm going to lunch, and surely we will see the next week.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to it. See you, mate.
See ya.
So that was our race winner, folks, Enzo Cantor. And we'll have a look at a few replays here. We had two retirements. The first one was David Haynes, and we'll see if we can work out what's happened to David. And then we'll have a look at Gomez's incident as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find David's incident now, Bernie. I haven't been able to track him down, unfortunately. I was watching the previous race leading into this, and it looked like he had a couple of unfortunate incidents then that ended his race as well. So it's unfortunate for him too. Quite high strength of fields in a row, no points going his way, which is a shame for David.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he basically was coming through one of those tight turns and didn't quite get it turned in quick enough and whacked that outside wall very heavily, which has ended his race. The other one was Diego Gomez Garcia. He retired on lap 2, and we'll jump back and see if we can see what happened to Diego. I'd say it's going to be very similar, whacking a wall somewhere.
Very easy to do here, Bernie. As Enzo described, a small lapse in concentration. Maybe you haven't taken the line that you're used to taking, and you can very easily just run wide or shoot yourself off, spit yourself off one of the corners into the wall. They're all very close here, the Armcos here, and they really wreck your night pretty quickly.
They certainly do, and what ended Diego's night was basically the same thing that happened to Enzo. He came through that embankment and it spat him out the other side, but unsettled his car, unfortunately, and got a bit of a tank slapper going there and into the wall. So there was 3 big incidents we saw there tonight. That one, though, with John Sully, that was quite big, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, John's first trip down with us, as far as I'm aware. Like I said, he seems to be a good bloke to have around, judging by what he's put on the forums and the footage I've seen of him previously. I don't know if you call it a misjudgment on his part. Certainly, that inside ripple strip is not one you necessarily target, or he would have had a lot of experience with necessarily. So, unfortunate that he got spat out like that. And spoiled a couple of people's nights, including his own. Just a shame for him. I hope we can see him back, because he's a good driver. I've had a couple of races with him previously, and like I said, he's good to have on the track.
Yeah, he certainly is, and it just looked like, from what I saw, as you said, he got caught up on that ripple strip, and that just spat him across into Kevin Henderson, and sort of ended their night. They did recover from it, though, so that was great to see. Now, before we go, folks, let's have a look at the point score coming into this. So Luke Whitten was leading, and he still is leading. He'll actually improve on that. Matthew Thomas was second. He didn't race tonight, so I'm expecting Enzo with the win. He's going to be right up there already into second position. And Enzo jumped 3 positions from last round, so that was very good to see that. Kevin Henderson, well, he was sitting in 6th. He should also move up. We saw Simon Chambers out there, I think, tonight, but Stefano Polianato we haven't seen for a week or 2, so we can expect those guys to drop down a little bit.
That's right, Bernie. I expect Simon will have been in the second spot. Enzo will jump up into second spot there with Matthew not racing. He will have gained only 2 points on Luke, because he got the pole, bonus point for pole, and then he was 1 point ahead based on his results of Luke. But he's also got a round in hand. So, whilst Luke's got a comfortable lead now, once the drop rounds start coming into play, Enzo will close the gap quite quickly. Kevin will probably jump both Simon, potentially. It's definitely Stefano and Matthew Thomas, so he'll probably be in the top 3 or 4 after his recovery drive tonight. And unfortunately, Russell, scoring no points, will drop back again, which is a shame for him. I expect to see Mick Gray, who's in 10th at the moment, jump up a couple of spots as well after scoring points tonight.
Yeah, I'm expecting Mick to jump a few spots. He finished 8th, so it was a good showing there. But ahead of him, Anthony Mansorella, we didn't see tonight. Ken Hyams, I don't think he was in the top split. And Russell Clark finished down in about 15th. So there'll be quite a bit of movement in the points. And, of course, folks, you can see how those points stack up next week when we bring you round 6 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights Racing Series. But Alex, it was quite an interesting race, and I was pretty astonished how fast these little skippies are around here.
Yeah, that's right, Bertie. We didn't know a single corner name. What corner number was what. I tell you what, the odds were stacked against you and me tonight, mate. But I think we managed okay, all things considered. We're off to Laguna Seca next week. Another free track for round 6. should see participation up again. I'm hoping that we're building really well into this season. Certainly the RRTV broadcasts are helping build the interest in this race. You see the likes of Enzo coming down here each week because it's a great opportunity to score some points, but what that leads to is really great racing as well. High quality fields, great fun for the participants. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'd like to also apologise to our viewers. We had a pretty rocky start tonight, mainly because the intro video didn't work, and which is unusual. But then, not only that, folks, we didn't have qualifying. That was done separately, so we missed that, and the servers were slow in loading, and we had about a minute to read the grid. But all up, I think we recovered quite nicely, Alex.
Yeah, well, that's right, Bertie. The odds were stacked against us tonight with the track itself taking so long to load and all the rush to get things done in time for the start of the race. Hopefully, though, the viewers will have seen some good action on track and got to know a little bit more about what is one of the world's most famous tracks and certainly one the drivers love to race at.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a driver's favourite. And for the viewers out there, if you like your multi-class racing and you didn't catch the Coda 6 Hour yesterday, jump onto our YouTube channel, and well, you know where it is because you're watching this video, and check it out. There's a full 6 hours coverage there of yesterday's race, including it had 3 classes, the HPDs, we had the DPs in there as well as the GT3s, and that's part of the Australian Endurance Championship. But looking forward to the rest of the week. It's going to be a little bit quiet on RRTV for the rest of the week, but we will be back next Monday night to cover round 6 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. So on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Weemers, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this coverage, and we wish you a good evening.